Many buyers think that in a highly competitive market, it's always the highest bid that wins. But that's not necessarily the truth. Hi, my name's Pierre. I'm a local licensed realtor in 2 states, and today I'm going to share with you some secrets of how to win a bidding war without necessarily overpaying. That's right, you can win a bidding war in a real estate deal without being the highest bid. And I'm going to show you how to do that today, because there are some tactics and there are some things that you need to leverage as a buyer in your favor to know how to win the bid. Are you ready? Let's go after it. So here's the first thing. It's not always the price that wins the bid, because it's not always the price that's the highest priority for the seller. Well, if the price isn't the highest priority, you might ask, what is? Number one, certainty. See, if a seller wants to make sure that this move happens and this house sells, then they want to have certainty around the deal. How does that certainty come? Well, number one, it comes by cash. If a person is presenting a cash offer, obviously they have higher likelihood to get through the deal because there's no mortgage contingencies. And so that's one way to do it, to make sure that you're lowering the risk for the potential seller. However, you say, I don't have cash. What are the other things I could do? Well, a considerable down payment is another thing you could do, or moves me on to number two, lowering the friction in the deal. And what do I mean by friction? Well, in any real estate deal, there are a lot of criteria to get through the deal. And one of those could be, for example, inspections. So when you lower the friction, what you're saying is, I'm going to make this deal as easy as possible for the seller. That might mean you eliminate inspections. There are inherent risks there. Or you reduce the inspections down so that the seller knows that you're not going to be chipping away at them for every little dime and dollar. So remove friction, which also leads to this. Number three, be flexible. Flexibility wins. What do I mean by flexibility? Being flexible on closing dates, on timing, on even things like a rent back. What is a rent back? It's where you buy the house on a Friday, but the owners, the people you're buying from, stay in that house for maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month even, maybe more, and you rent the home back to them. Why is this important to a seller? Well, maybe a seller's making a transition. They're not only selling this house, but they're moving to another house, and they need a gap of time, and they also need the ability to have the money from the sale of their home to then put forward towards the purchase of their next home. If you provide flexibility to a seller and say, look, we'll close whatever day you want, as long as it's, within our time frame of 30 days or 45 days, whatever your mortgage needs, you can provide something that money can't provide. There's a lot of psychology when it comes to all of this. It's just understanding what is your leverage and what is your strategic edge. So it comes down to psychology, but here's the thing. How do you know the psychology of a seller? And this is where you really need to zone in on this. Are you ready for it? You have to work with a competent, experienced, professional realtor as a buyer who knows how to work with listing agents and determine what are the most salient criteria for their seller. What's most important to that seller? Because a good buyer's agent will build rapport and relationship with a listing agent to understand what's really going on here behind the covers. What is really the most important thing to this seller beyond price? So for example, as a buyer's agent, I'll call up the agent and say, hey, Miss Agent Seller, I have a client who's interested in your property. And I'll start to ask some generic, general questions about the property. One of the questions that I will ask is this: beyond price, what's most important to your seller? And then guess what I do? You're not going to believe this. Are you ready for it? I listen. I take notes. I think through the process. I put myself in that seller's shoes. Then what do? Don't let the secret out. I know it's on the internet, but don't tell everybody. I go back to my buyer and I say, look, here's the deal. The most important thing for the seller is not just the price, but they need a particular moving date. And then I communicate whatever that is, or they need some type of flexibility with the deal, and I communicate that back to my buyer so that my buyer knows how we should write this offer up so they're not overbidding just to win it when they could have just made a tweak in their offer. Or maybe they just say, hey, listen, they just want to walk away. They do not want to fix a thing at all. They want the deal to be done. I tell my buyers, listen, if you want this deal, you can't be asking for everything to be fixed. You got to take this house as it is, or you got to move on to another house. But the point is more important than all of those details. Here's the point. Get a realtor who knows how to work the deal. Get a good realtor who knows how to represent you as a buyer and knows how to get your foot in the door. Listen, I have been on both sides of this conversation. I have been with sellers who looked at offers and did not take the highest offer. I've been with buyers who won the bid without the highest offer. Do you know what the difference was? It was the agent knowing how to work the deal. So here are my things for you today. If you're going to win, but you're not necessarily going to win on price, make sure you know how to reduce the risk, create certainty for that seller that the deal is going to close. Could be an additional a down payment or how much you're going to put down. It could even be and I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but a non-refundable down payment. That often happens in commercial deals. But you want to reduce the level of risk that seller feels that the deal won't go through. Next, you want to remove any friction. You want to make sure that this deal is clean. Time frames. Think about inspections. Next, make sure you're flexible and that you have a professional realtor working the deal for you. My name is Pierre again. I'm a local licensed realtor. I created this channel just for you. Would you like and subscribe today so that I can continue to build, continue to help people? And if you ever need my help, feel free to follow me. Feel free to reach out to me. My website is pmereal.com, which stands for Pierre Marc Ede Real Estate. pmereal.com. Look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Take care and God bless.